Even just starting a business, be so passionate about it that it seeps from your pores. Like you have to be fully invested and believe in what you're doing for it to succeed and blast off.
The current business that you're doing, helping pets get exercises.
Animals, dogs, cats will come in with joint issues and heart issues and all these things because of their weight, because of obesity. Exercising your animals every day will help them live longer.
If I were to type in exercise my dog, I would think I'm hiring a dog walker.
One of the biggest challenges was getting funding, because how do you convince a bank that, hey, we're going to exercise dogs, this is a really good idea, you should invest, and they've never heard of it, it's not really a thing.
A business is more art than science. People have to really realize that. So if you could go back and give your younger self advice, and it doesn't have to be financial advice, what might that be? Welcome to today's PlanAssist Podcast, where we interview successful business owners, entrepreneurs, and business leaders with the goal of helping you make better business decisions and basic financial decisions. PlanAssist is built on first principles thinking, and it's built around how do we maintain and then grow our wealth, primarily through just making good decisions. And we utilize kind of three questions that we work on helping you answer yes to. So whether you're running a small business or whether it's individual, and those three questions are: is your lifestyle aligned with your income? Is your income resilient and diversified? And then are you making progress on those two or on those both? So that's kind of a quick overview of PlanAssist and what we do with this podcast. Today, I'm super excited to have Danielle Groover. She's the founder of Run and Paw, a mobile dog gym focused on canine health, fitness, enrichment. Danielle spent more than 14 years working in veterinary medicine with deep experience in exotic animals and emergency critical care. She currently serves as an ICU manager and veterinarian technician while helping lead hands-on training workshops for veterinarians and professionals across the county. Danielle brings a unique mixture of entrepreneurship, animal welfare, and frontline veterinarian experience to the conversation. So with that, welcome, Danielle.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. So just to kick things off, as you kind of saw in my email, is what I do with all these is I start with, just to get the conversation started, is if you could go back and give your younger self advice, and it doesn't have to be financial advice, what might that be?
I would say don't worry about what you can't change and focus on what you can do now.
That's really good advice. So if people could get more into that, sometimes people get so stuck on looking backwards, the coulda, shouldas, the wouldas. And I live in the financial world where that's just constant, right? You coulda, shoulda, and you're much better off kind of being really honest with yourself and clear on here's where I'm at.
Yeah, because you can't change what has already happened. So might as well just move forward.
That's right, exactly. So tell me a little bit about, to just hit the conversation about the business, the current business that you're doing, helping pets get exercise. Is that because pets are starting to become overweight, I guess, right?
So overweight has always been an issue in the domestic animal world, and I see it all the time in the hospital. Animals, dogs, cats will come in with joint issues and heart issues and all these things because of their weight, because of obesity. So literally just exercising your animals every day will help them live longer. So initially we were wanting to create a business, my husband and I create a business that will not only, help animals, but how can we make it fun? And mobile dog gyms have kind of been popping up slowly over the last few years. It's still a very new, very niche business, but we thought we could do that. So with my, experience in animal behavior, as well as being vet tech, monitoring animals and seeing the benefits, the health benefits that just walking or running on a slat mill can create for them. And my husband, he had owned a business prior, so he has all of like the financial and the know-hows and all of that. Like it just kind of worked.
That's awesome. What a unique idea. So when you say slat mill, is that basically a dog's walk? treadmill?
Yeah, so slat mills are non-motorized. So as soon as they start walking, the slats move. So they're the ones propelling it themselves. So we don't put any motors on it. We don't set it to a certain speed. So it's literally up to the dogs completely to how fast that they want to go. And some dogs can run 20 miles an hour, and some dogs just want to walk. But if you just walk your dog once a day, twice a day, yes, that's still good for their joints and their health and enrichment out there, but it's not letting them run to their full capacity.
Where this does do that.
Hmm.
So like I have a sheepadoodle that I throw the ball. So I'll let her go and let her run,
Hmm.
pretty like literally because she's off the leash. But I have, like I have to do it. There's not very many places that let you get away with
Yeah.
it, right? And she's also trained where I can trust her, right? And that's another big
Yes.
problem that a lot of animals or people with dogs, they can't take their dogs off the leash.
Yep. So then they're confined to how fast the human can go.
Right. And then how do you find your clients? What's kind of your, is it the vets refer and say, hey, this dog's really chunky? Because it's not just for chunky dogs, is it? It's actually for anyone who wants to keep their dogs fed or healthy.
Yep. So we went around through all of the county that we're in, and we gave all of the vets our cards and flyers and just chatted with them. Word of mouth has been huge. We did a lot of pop-up events the first year. We got in with rescues and shelters, and we still partner with rescues and shelters, and we do run the shelter dogs, depending on which shelter calls us out. But we do donate our time to run some of the shelter dogs just to give them some enrichment, some run time on the slat mills every month or so. But getting the word out with the shelters, the rescues, who people go to get dogs, we give them a little card that says, "You adopted a dog. Thank you. Here's a free intro run with Run and Paw." So with that, Facebook, we did some Facebook ads to start off with. We did some Google ads to start just to kind of get the word out there, and a lot of pop-up events where we offered free intro runs, 10-minute, fun runs just to see if dogs would like it, and just kind of blew up from there.
And some dogs probably love it, and other dogs probably not so much, I would suspect.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, and we will never force a dog to like it if they're not going to like it. But we have probably a 94, 93, 94% chance of getting a dog to actually do it the first time.
And I'm just trying to visualize this so then we can get into the business piece of it because it's so interesting okay, so is the slat mill something like is that's in the back of your van, or do you take it out and put them out on the sidewalk or on the grass or something?
Nope. So we bring the van right to people's houses, right to their driveway. There's two slat mills in the van, and the van is fully air conditioned. So we keep it nice and cool in there, especially in the Florida heat where dogs can overheat, which is another reason why we did this, because heat exhaustion and heat stroke are very serious complications of bringing your dog out for a walk just in the middle of the day, especially if they're brachycephalic, which is the smushy nose breeds. So Frenchies, bulldogs, boxers, but giving them this opportunity to run and exercise in the enclosed environment, which is air conditioned, is just amazing.
Great idea, yeah. And so and
Hmm.
it hold and the van will hold two at one
Yep.
time. So then they can kind of run side by side if they want,
Yeah.
or yeah, how cool. What a cool idea. So how long have you been doing this?
Since March of 2024. So we're going on our third year.
Shish. And where are you at? Are you in Volusia? What county are you in?
Volusia County. But
Volusia.
we
Okay.
travel to Orlando. We went up to Jacksonville one time. We do dogs in Sanford and North Orlando without a travel fee. But if we go outside of those county areas, then we do have a travel fee just to cover the gas and the
Sure.
mileage.
Yeah, exactly. And if you get someone outside that area, the probably the goal is for them to have two dogs, right? So if I have I have one dog, my neighbor has a dog, we split
Hmm.
the travel fee, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a really good idea. Okay, so when you went to 1 million cups, when did you do your 1 million cup presentation and what did you present?
I think it was a little less than a year ago, and we had a slideshow where we basically just told people what we are, because unless you're looking up dog exercise or gym, you're not going to know that we exist. So basically telling people, hey, we're a mobile dog gym. We come to your house, exercise your dog. If you have a high energy dog that wants to play ball just nonstop and it's never enough, let us run them. They'll be snoozing for the next few hours. Or if you have an overweight dog that needs to lose weight, if you have an old dog that needs to, get his joints moving and needs to just be a little more active, or if you have a puppy that is just nonstop all day. So we can cater to a lot of different variations of needs for people. If we have older clients that have young, vibrant dogs, they can't really walk them a whole lot because they're going to trip or fall or something or other.
That's a big deal in where I live.
Hmm.
Because as you get older, you do have to be careful. And a lot of people will get dogs a little bit bigger than they probably should.
Yeah, yeah, we see that a lot.
Well, and they don't even mean it because one of the problems you got in that whole doodle world, which I've had too,
Hmm.
is you have no idea what size the
You never
dog's going
know.
to be. Right? I mean, exactly. You really don't. You have no idea. I mean, they'll say this is a miniature. Maybe miniatures stay somewhat miniature, but you get to the mid-size, you don't
Like
really know.
10%.
That's right, exactly. You don't really know. So it's kind of interesting. So it was kind of the presentation of how you explained what you're doing to the 1 million cups. So this wasn't like I want some feedback. This was more like a here's what we're doing in FYI. What kind
Hmm.
of feedback did you? Because really, who would go and Google dog exercise? They probably wouldn't.
Hmm. Unless you have a dog and you're like, how can I exercise this dog more? He obviously needs more.
And you would think not, at least I would. So again, I'm not like normal, but if I were to type in exercise my dog, I would think I'm hiring a dog walker.
Hmm.
I wouldn't think of someone like what you're doing, like put the dog in a van and let it run.
Yeah, and we get a lot of phone calls asking, "What are you? What do you do?"
I'll bet you do. I'll bet you do. Yeah, no, because and people love their dogs so much. I mean, and I'm one of them, but we are like, it's like whatever we need to do. It's hilarious. There's a very connection to how do you do it. I have a friend, which I'm going to tell her to look up your website. Is she has I can't think of the dog, but it's a lab, so it's a lab doodle, right? But
Hmm.
labs will have a tendency to carry more weight than a normal dog. I tell her, so
Yeah.
she'll say she's overweight, and I say she probably is a little bit, but again, labs, especially some breeds, have a tendency to be chunkier
Hmm.
than what you think they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they have some thick skin.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, okay. So, what was the feedback they gave you at 1 million cup?
So we
What was like?
got a lot of questions on like marketing and how we got the word out. And then we also got some feedback on places to go to kind of advertise. So like either 55 plus communities or old folks homes or apartment complexes.
Oh, those are good
Um,
ideas, actually.
yeah.
You were probably already doing them, though, I suspect.
So certain areas have like either the gated communities where there's no soliciting, where it is usually the 55 plus communities. So what we have done is gone to certain apartment complexes, go to the front desk and be like, "Hey, you want to put our flyer up on your like big board of all these other advertising?" So maybe somebody will like catch their eye, like, "Oh, a dog gym," and they don't know. Because people in apartments, yes, sometimes there's a doggy play yard, but sometimes not. And they have to bring their dog all the way down, go for a walk, and then go right back up.
But a play yard in those gyms, they're not big enough for, especially not if you have a dog that wants exercise, right? If you
Yeah.
have like my golden or my sheepadoodle, that would not even be close to enough. Like not
Like one
even
little
like,
circle around.
yeah, no, that wouldn't work. It really wouldn't. I mean, I would have literally, it would be a real problem if I had her. And I could see how if your lifestyle was such, you'd need something like this. So I actually can see how this actually solves the problem. Did you go,
Hmm.
were you at the Daytona Beach one, the one downtown Daytona? Is that the one you did your presentation at 1 million cup?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I did too. That's a
Hmm.
good one. That was a pretty
In
good
like the
group.
theater.
Exactly. And you go up
So
on the
cute.
stage. It was a pretty good group too. So
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I live over in Orlando, so I'm in
Okay.
west, about 10 miles straight west of downtown Orlando. So the one I go to typically is the Claremont one because
Okay, very
I'm
good.
pretty close to the Claremont one. Do you go back or did you just go one time for a presentation?
I think we've been a few times just to like sit in on others, but
Uh-huh.
it hasn't really worked with our schedule because we'll have like run appointments at that time.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that's the problem is there's a lot of people that need the feedback. They don't have time to do it. Okay,
Hmm.
so tell me about, so let's shift gears and talk just a little bit about business in general. So kind of how did you guys fund it? What do you see as kind of some of the biggest challenges and opportunities for someone when they're starting a business like you guys started? And I understand your husband had a lot of experience, so he did the financials, and then
Hmm.
you had experience with the dogs. So the two expertise were kind of unique.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked well together from both perspectives so we can get each other's mindset on each style. So one of the biggest challenges was getting funding because how do you convince a bank that, hey, we're going to exercise dogs. This is a really good idea. You should invest. And they've never heard of it. It's not really a thing. There's maybe a few gyms around the states, but it's not like they can't see it as profitable quite
I
yet.
totally could see that because I'm a financial advisor, right? So I would be that banker, right? I'm like a
Like
numbers person.
a treadmill
I
for
don't have,
dogs?
I love my dog, but I'm like, really? What? Now tell me about that. But I'm sure your husband stepped in and showed him some numbers, but I bet that was interesting. Did you get a small business loan? Is that what you did?
So, nope, we actually had a family member invest in us and helped us get the van and the slat mills and just get started. So it was less than what we initially was going to hope for, but it made all the difference. And we, you know, this last year, I think we made double the amount than the first year. So
That is
we're doing pretty good.
fantastic. Yes. And that's always the hardest parts that first year when you get something out, especially something as unique as this. So you really don't know if you can. And are you? So you're still working though as a basically a vet nurse for the
Yeah.
most part, right? I mean,
Yep.
that's
I'm
I
part-time.
see
I'm
you.
there 2 days a week.
Does your husband work or does he do this full time?
So he works full-time. He works from home for Carnival Cruise Lines as a vacation planner.
Oh yeah, cool.
And then on
Uh-huh.
the weekends, he'll help with the runs, and I get a few days off. We also just hired a part-time employee to take a few days off of us as well.
That's a big step, isn't it, when you get
Yeah.
someone
So we're
part
really
time?
excited.
That is,
Not that
that's
I don't love doing this 7 days a week, but it's
no.
been 7 days a week for the last 2.5 years.
How many dogs can you run in a day? So tell me about money and all that.
It depends. So every hour we could run two dogs. So every appointment is 30 minutes long, whether it be one dog or two dogs. I have a few clients that have two dogs. I have a few clients that have four dogs, and that's an hour-long appointment because we do two and then the next two.
And they
So
can only run 30 minutes. That's more than enough for a dog, right?
yeah,
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 that's like
that's
I had my dog out running just to go down a little rabbit hole separate, but I had my dog out and we're in big shape and there was an area where they do these trainings and the canine officer with one of his dogs came in and so of course I put Zoe on a leash but I went
safety.
over to talk to him and I asked him kind of how often, how long does he do? He goes, oh, you don't have to do long training. I said, really? He goes, oh no. He goes, 5, 10 minutes, 10 times, 15 times a day. He goes,
Yeah,
dogs, people way overestimate how much time they need. They're not like humans,
yeah.
but they do need it. Is that true? Is that?
Yeah. So we find 30-minute sessions is perfect for most dogs. So if we have like an old dog with arthritis and he just wants to walk, he can get about a mile in 30 minutes. We also have young dogs that run 20 miles an hour and then they stop, they take a little break themselves, then they run, then they kind of saunter and trot along the last few minutes, but they can go 3 to 4 miles in 30 minutes. And both of them on both spectrums are sleeping the rest of the day.
That is awesome. And they could be the same owner, one dog, the old dog, because
Yeah.
we've had,
Yep. So in one of our my Tuesday people, she has a 14-year-old corgi and he just walks. He's just happy to be here, happy to see and socialize. And they have a border collie mix. She runs. So
exactly. So the
she
corgi's just walking along and the border is running fast. So you probably can do what, 6 or 7 a day, 5 or 6 a day, maybe.
I did 12 on Tuesday.
Did you really? That would be, so you, that's a lot. So they have to be
Mhm.
close. That would be a busy day, I would think, right?
So we have our different zones in each different day. So when we first started, we were just taking runs anywhere in the county as
Which you
whatever we
need
could
to,
get.
right? To get the word
Yep.
out.
And then more recently, we got this new system that we are like, okay, we need to be on the east side of Volusia County on these days, the west side of Volusia County on these days, and then the south side on these days. So we have three zones, and we say zone one is all day Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Tuesday, Thursday afternoons is zone two and all day Saturday. And then zone three is Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays all day. So
Okay.
that way it takes about 30 minutes to get to the next appointment. So from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., every hour we can have a run, and then we have an hour break for lunch.
That is such a great idea and what a nice business model. So how much like organization, like do you have like an admin or an office that schedules, or are you doing that on the phone? So you're doing that driving.
So people can book online on our
Uh-huh.
website right from themselves. Some people do call us, some like
And pay,
elderly
I assume.
people. Yeah. So
Book
you
and
pay
pay
for the
all
appointment
yeah.
and then we show up. Yeah.
See, that's a business that wouldn't have existed 10 years ago, would it have? Huh? Or you
No.
would have had a whole nother person that would have had to, except
Make the appointments. Yeah.
where now you can just do it all online. Boom.
Yep. And we'll just get notifications on the phone like, oh, so and so just booked another run for Fluffy. Oh, so and so booked another run for, Harley. And we have packages so people can buy monthly packages and that gives them credits to use. And so they pay the one time and then they can plug in whatever dates, whatever times that they want in their zone and then use those as credits.
So it's basically a subscription business. You basically built a
It can
subscription
be.
business. I know
Mhm.
it's not technically, but you
Yeah. It's not
kind
like
of
we're
did
not
it.
locked in, but if they
It's
want
not like a
for,
monthly thing, but in theory,
yeah,
you could go down a path like that if it made sense in one of
yeah.
your business. By doing the credits is kind of the step towards a subscription business.
Yeah. And we do have this membership that we just recently offered, $30 a month. You get a little kind of gift goodie bag and toys and a bandana and then discounts on some runs. And that will be, locked in for monthly.
Does that
But
include one run a month or
it
not?
includes a few runs if you are consistent in 4 months, I believe.
I see. So it just creates credits is the way you're doing
Hmm.
it. You're doing it kind of like one of those
Like an a la
Starbucks.
carte.
Exactly. Kind of like Starbucks with my credit card. Like if you go in so many times, you get a card, you get a credit, you get a free
Yeah.
coffee. That's a
It's
good
it's
idea.
positive reinforcement for the people because we use positive reinforcement for the dogs. So
That's your, that's your veterinarian experience. Come all it out. That is fantastic. What a fantastic idea. I'm surprised the 1 million cup people didn't reach out to you more because they don't have a lot of really, like, it's hard to get someone like you on 1 million cup and then, because you don't, again, then you go out and get busy and they don't
hmm
really ever hear how it turns out. Right.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I find probably of all the things I'm frustrated with 1 million cup, that would be it. It would be,
hmm
you kind of hear everyone kind of early on in their businesses, but you don't hear,
Where
oh,
we
by
were
the
and
way,
then where we are.
exactly. That person did a presentation and, 2 months, 2 years ago, and now look at them, because they're too
Hmm
busy. They can't come back and tell us anything.
I
So,
guess that's a good thing in some aspect, but
no, I
yeah, it would
bet
be
1
good to
million cup would
to
call that a
follow
really
up.
good thing. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Because that's really what I think their mission is, if I'm not mistaken. I think their mission. And for me, so just quickly, kind of what I did is I started this podcast about 9 months ago, and I was like, well, who am I going to get to go, to come? And so we were just really calling other YouTubers, and then we called, a few people that I knew or people in the thing. But then I was like, I need to get a more consistent message, and I was at one of my 1 million cup presentations. I asked one of them, and I started saying, we need to just work on that. And to be honest, I found that to be extremely consistent, and so you can kind of, if you're watching this podcast periodically, this would be a normal conversation on the
Mm-hmm.
podcast, right? And not it's not for everybody, but you still, if you're going to succeed in podcasts, they got to kind of have a sense of, well, what am I going to get if I'm going to invest 10 minutes or half an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so last kind of section on this, just to finish it up or kind of end on is tell me a little bit about, like, my favorite subject is on AI. So how are you guys utilizing as a small business AI, and kind of what are you using in AI, or are you using it at all?
So my husband Austin really likes AI for either social media posts or email blasts to
Uh-huh.
kind of consolidate his thoughts. So the way he'll type something out and just kind of blurb out his thought process. Like, I want to say this and this and this, and then he uses AI to organize his thoughts for posts and sharing and emails and responses, and also emailing other businesses if people email us with like a bunch of questions, and then using AI to consolidate and concise just
Messaging.
thoughts, because you have like a bunch of thoughts and how do I organize all of that. So will you mostly use it for that? I don't use it as much. I'm more of the creative side. So when I type things out, I am organizing it in my brain already, and then I just have to put it onto into words.
Right. But one thing for anyone listening to this, setting up a business, you guys, and I go back to the uniqueness of the blessing or the lucky is you have kind of a right brain, left brain, kind of between the two of you. Most
Yeah.
of the time people don't, right? Like, I'm a financial advisor, I'm right brain, right? So then
Yeah.
I'll miss the creative side of how do I talk to, or how do I do stuff? You're right.
Hmm.
Or someone will be real creative and then they'll miss you still got to have a checking account and pay the bill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The legalities, the boring stuff.
That's right, exactly. Or you guys got to get both, and that's one thing that someone could use AI. That's what I use AI for. So that
Hmm.
that AI, because I'm more kind of right brain, I don't need it for the money or investing in that kind of stuff, but I do need it for the. I use it, interesting enough, more like your husband. I use it to
Hmm.
put my thoughts on, and then I use it for productivity. So I can send out 3 or 4 emails quickly with minimal errors with
Hmm.
AI, right? You'll still have a few errors or something, but not very many,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and it's not grammar errors like they used to be. It's more like it misses kind of what you were trying to say if you
Hmm.
don't slow down and read it. But
Yeah. You
productive,
always have to double check.
you do have to double check, but even that aside, productivity goes through the roof,
Hmm.
right? I mean, so you can just, if you need to, like, shoot, 5 years ago, it would take me, I'm not exaggerating, 15, 20 minutes to put a really clean, nice email together.
Yeah.
And in some cases, an hour plus. It still takes me, a 15-minute email would take me 5 or 7 minutes, right? So it's not, doesn't
Yeah.
go
Because you
to
have to edit,
zero. Exactly.
reorganize.
And
Hmm.
I still want it in my voice,
Yeah.
right? You don't
Yeah.
want, like, but it'll be interesting to see if you guys start adopting AI in some of, like, your appointments and some of that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting.
Hmm.
So you're not using AI for your phone yet.
No.
So AI, like answering the phone, like if it's like people calling in to get info and
Yeah.
answer
We answer the phones. Just I think it just kind of
yourself.
gives that personal touch. Like, people have questions about, what do you do, and talking about them. I had one lady yesterday call, and she's like, well, my dog is fat. So, and I laughed. I'm like, that's fine. I can help with that. Help me help you.
That is the
Like,
best.
it's got to be personal. Eventually, we'll
Exactly.
have employees that will, help answer the phones and answer the questions and make the bookings. but I don't think I want an AI personnel voice to answer the questions because people have many different questions and many different dialects and tones. And I don't know, I always get frustrated when I'm like, customer service, trying to get to a person.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably true. I don't know. We'll see. I'm big AI. It's getting better and better so fast
Yeah,
that it's hard to predict kind of where it goes in 2 years and where you go. Like how busy do you get, and then what kind of
yeah,
phone calls you get. You know what I mean? Like one thing that the AI can do is answer the phone at 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
hmm,
You know what I mean? Even if it's not all day, but you don't want to be answering a phone call for business at 9 p.m. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Where AI can do that.
decline.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's right. Where like an AI call, you can let AI answer it, and the AI is getting much better and ask questions
Hmm.
and then call back. But to the client, from a client experience perspective, that's still better than no answer.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Or at least in my opinion. I don't.
yeah,
It's hard to. Everything's it. A business is more art than science. People have to really realize that. So that's the one thing that I've learned over the years. The more businesses I see get set up, there's some real basic truths that everyone has to follow, like the legal piece of it, the how do you manage it, all that.
yeah.
But more than 50% of it's art, right? And what I mean by that is, okay, well, then how much do you charge? Well, you think, oh yeah, you can, well, you can't.
And how
That's
do you
not a
get
book.
people to trust you?
That's right, exactly. That's not in a book. That's not, oh, I'll go
Hmm.
buy a book and say I'm going to start this business and here's what I'm going to charge and here's how you trust. No, those are much harder challenges that you got to work your way through.
Hmm.
So to finish up, what advice would you give someone that's going out to start a new business, especially one that's as unique as yours, right? A lot of people will go start they'll go start businesses that they have no idea, or that everyone has, and they're worried about competitors. That really wasn't at all even a thought for you. Yours was more, how do you get
Hmm.
people to know about it?
Yeah. So even just starting a business, I would say be so passionate about it that it seeps from your pores. Like you have to be fully invested and believe in what you're doing for it to succeed and blast off.
Do you think that's enough?
Oh yeah.
You do, yeah.
Because it'll get to the right people and the right people will believe in you because you believe in yourself.
So of all the things, that's kind of the big takeaway is people, you can't be starting something you don't have because you are going to hit some bumps, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
when you guys started it, I'm sure you had some challenging weeks or months, or you know what I mean, as you kind of got up and running.
Hmm.
Did you end up buying a brand new van, or did you buy a used one and air condition it?
It was used, so it was a passenger van. So there were 12 seats in there that we had to take out.
Uh-huh.
But it was fully air conditioned all the way through the back, and we got it slightly used. There was maybe less than 20,000 miles on it. It was used for like a route around a hotel to and from like the Universal parks or something. But we were looking at new, we were looking at used, but this one it just popped up and we're like, all right, that's the one. It was
It
still barely used.
barely used 20,000. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, dear, we're in business.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay, well, how do people get in contact with you? So we'll finish it with, how do people reach out to you? And they'll put it
They
on
can
on.
find us on all social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Our email is run.n.paw@gmail.com. Our website is runandpaw.com. Our big van with the big logo, big paw prints on it, you can't miss it.
So if anyone has a dog that they want to get some more exercise, they can reach out to you, or reach out to you. And if they got questions, they can reach out and
Yeah,
get
definitely. I
information.
love answering questions.
So, well, that's fantastic. Well, thanks again, Daniel. I really appreciate you coming on. That was a really fun interview.
Thanks for having me. I had fun.